Hi guys, my name is Melody and thanks for stopping by. Today's video I just want to talk a wee bit about the NHS and what that NHS has done for me as an immigrant to the UK. I'm just going to tell you things that I personally love about the NHS and what feelings I have for it and why it is such an integral part to the actual country and the health of a country to have universal health care. Now, when I was 18 years old, I came off of my parents' healthcare in the United States. Before that, I didn't know what healthcare cost. I was just going off of them. They would pay for it out of their own pocket. And basically, I just got my medication that I needed for my bipolar and all the treatments, psychiatry, whatever happened, I would just not think about it because my parents had that in order for me. However, when I turned 18 and I moved out and I stopped being a dependent to my parents, I lost all that insurance. From the age of about 18, 19 to 23, I had absolutely no health care. I went to go see if I could get my medication. My medication for one pill that I needed to take every day for the month was over $100 at that time, and that was back in 99, 2000. Which as a full-time student and worker in a fast food restaurant, I could not afford that. So I spent about 3.5 years of my life being completely unmedicated, which with bipolar, if you know about the symptoms, you know that there is manic swings and ups and downs. Constantly having those, constantly being unstable, and absolutely being all over the place. My main thing is I used to tell people that I would rather die than have an ambulance come pick me up because of the actual cost of it. I know that one time my dad got picked up by an ambulance with a heart attack and the cost of the ambulance was $3,500. The medication that he was on was well over $200 to $300, I think, with the insurance per month. Insulin, diabetes, things like that. Things which I know that people are actually dying from in America, which they shouldn't be, because they can't afford the healthcare. Now, my husband and I got married almost 16 years ago. That will be next month. And when I came over, I did not know about the NHS. I had no absolute clue. So we got married, I got my visa, we moved over, and one of the first things he says is, you need to go register for the doctor. Now, my first question was how much does that cost? And he's like, it doesn't cost anything. And I didn't understand how that could be because everything has a cost to it. Now, the way that they do national health care over here is that you have a job and you pay national insurance. And your national insurance goes to the NHS and you get your health care off the back of that from the doctors and things. You don't actually miss it because it comes out before you get paid. So it's not like something that you're going to miss because it is included in your overall tax on your paycheck, which is a brilliant thing. What else I do also like about the way the system works here is that you're not worried about if you're having a baby or if you need surgery. Now, there are wait times, and don't get me wrong, those wait times can be long for non-serious things that may be serious to you. However, there's always somebody that is going to be having a more serious illness, and you just have to respect that. So I got signed up for a doctor here. I went to see my GP at the time and I got referred to psychiatry, and from that point on I've been taking medications. In England, those cost me at the time about £7.50 a month, I believe it was. However, when we moved to Scotland, those are actually included, and I do not have to pay for my prescriptions in Scotland. Those are all been paid for by my tax. Now, I will tell you that I have actually been working in the UK a week after I moved here. I had a job already. I signed up to a agency and got a job which I ended up staying for 2 years. And then I had another job here in Scotland, which I've stayed at for 10.5 years. I'm currently a full-time student. However, I do work during the summer months. I do a lot of overtime, and I am still paying taxes. The reason why I don't mind that my taxes goes to other people getting healthcare, because the health of a nation is the health of the economic independence that you can have as a nation. If you have a healthy nation, you have a healthy workforce. And we need to make sure that everybody gets that. Now, the most important thing I would like to say is that not only has the NHS basically saved my life by giving me those medications, which if I did not have, I could go into a spiral that can end up leading to attempted suicide. And I am saying that that is an important thing that we have to learn about. I've survived it as a teenager. I had attempted suicide. As adults, I had not since my kids were born, or I got pregnant with my first child. That is not a thought that I've had, because I need to be there for them, because if I'm not there for them, then they don't have that support, and I wouldn't want to do it to my family. But that's me. But if you are feeling suicidal, please do get help. When I started going to the doctors, I actually found out that I had more health problems than first realized. First thing I had is carpal tunnel. Well, besides the depression, bipolar, carpal tunnel syndrome in both of my hands, from which I had to get steroid injections. I ended up getting surgery on both of my hands, carpal tunnel decompression, which is amazing. I still don't have a lot of power in my hands, and they do sometimes hurt, which probably is from long-term repetitive use. However, I have more control over what I can do. I can hold things without dropping them and things like that, because it got to a point where I couldn't hold a pencil and write my own name because it was so sore. Now, the first year I was here, I also got pregnant very quickly after we got married, about within 3 months. And my daughter was born in February the following year. During that time, while I was pregnant, I had multiple issues, health issues. I had an abscess that needed to get drained and things like that, which is so painful, especially if you're pregnant, because you cannot go under general anesthetic, and the local anesthetic did not work. That's fine. When my daughter was born, 2 days after she was born, she had to get put back into hospital because she had pneumonia. She was in the hospital for, I believe, about a week, maybe 10 days at most, getting treatment and things like that. Basically, if we hadn't taken her straight in, she would have died. They saved my child's life, and to be honest, they've saved my child's life not only once but twice. Once with her having pneumonia, and the second time when my son was born and he wasn't breathing. He had to be resuscitated. And again, if you ask what all this cost to me, it's my tax, and that's an important aspect, is my tax that pays for it. And the amount of times that I've used the NHS and I've depended on the NHS, I don't think I would have ever got that same care in America. Now, I know people are dissing it and saying, oh, you're not going to get this, that, and the other, but it's such a worthy system, and they need to save it as much as they can do, because the nurses and the doctors there are so much better than some of the private doctors that I've ever seen in my life. They're so kind and nice and caring, and they are overworked and underpaid, which is a bad thing. However, what we have is brilliant. Now, I'm going to just briefly talk about, like I said, I've had a lot of dealings with the NHS. I am currently under psychiatric care to get my anxiety under control as well. And you know what? I'm going to say that is like, I need to say this to people, because I can still work and hold down a full-time job and still come in every day and be there. But I still do have problems. But I have help and I have access to help, which is the most important thing, is to have that access to be able to grasp onto it. I will probably talk more about my depression later. However, at this moment, I'm in a place where I'm moving forward, and I just like to say that. And I'm on the right medication now. I'm getting good sleep. I hadn't had sleep in ages, and everything is really good. Now, the last one I'm going to talk about is my husband. He has just come. This is the reason why I didn't film a video last week, but he has just come out of surgery on this Wednesday for his ear. This is the 6th surgery on the same ear because his body keeps rejecting everything that the doctors have done to try to remove polyps from inside his ear and to get his hearing back. He's had a full reconstruction of the inside of his ear this time. If this doesn't work, he will have to go and see another specialist, but this will be in Glasgow rather than in Fife. I am not to be honest, like if I think about that, 6 surgeries, 2 babies, all the other stuff, if I lived in America, I would be bankrupt. I have no doubt about that I would have no money. I mean, we're not the best at money, but we get by and we have things and we are able to get things that we need and sometimes things that we want, and it's not all bad. But without the NHS, we wouldn't be here like we are now. We wouldn't have the same level of care and health that we have now. I wouldn't be able to say I had well, I still have Graves' disease, but it's in remission because of the care that I've received. I wouldn't be able to say that I've gone and seen a doctor about this. I would probably I'm actually, truthfully, I don't think we would actually be alive today without the NHS, because they are the ones that are supporting us here. And universal healthcare is something that is absolutely brilliant, and it needs to be saved and it needs to be funded. And people that say I don't want to pay for other people's healthcare, that is so selfish. To be honest, that is the most selfish thing I've ever heard, because when you are putting into a pot for everyone and everyone gets the same level of care, then that's a positive thing. And ooh, it's socialism. Socialism is great when it works, and the NHS has been working for quite a long time, and I am proud to say that I've used it. I'm proud to say that I know people that are nurses and that are doctors and that are in the system. And yes, they don't get paid enough. And yes, sometimes things take a lot of time, but we have that backbone to society that we can get help. You need to want to get help, and that's what we have. Now, there is some bureaucracy that comes into that, and that goes with all sayings, but I would never give up anything for the NHS. And to be honest, at this point, I don't think I would go back to America until they had like a system that ensured that my children's children can get taken care of the same way that I can get taken care of here. I think it's underfunded. I think more funding needs to go into it. And if I made more money, I would be happy to pay extra tax for that. I'm sorry this is a bit of a rant. However, I wanted to share with everybody what my week was like, and because my husband had just had surgery and I appreciate them so much. I thank them for their care of him. He stayed overnight. He's currently in the living room on medication, just chilling and trying to not be in pain, which he is, because obviously it's a surgery inside your head. But I just wanted to say thank you to the people of the NHS, and I love you, and I hope that everything continues, and I hope that it keeps going for many more years to come, and that funding comes in for you. I'm just gonna say, if you like this video and you like me and you like my little rants, if you want to subscribe, that would be great. Or if you want to hit the thumbs up button, if you love the NHS, give it a little heart, share this video, let other people know that universal health care does not mean losing yourself. It means helping others and being more present in the now, and it saves people's lives. And we all need to do that, because a moral compass is that we shouldn't be so greedy to think that put ourselves first. We need to help everyone, and by universal healthcare we do help everyone. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.